Unsung Murder Ballads is a true crime podcast, and as such, we will be discussing topics that are disturbing, graphic, and often violent in nature. So this is not for children under the age of 13.
But you know this because you did start playing this episode. So here are some things you might not know about us.
We are going to be critical of mistakes made by both criminals and law enforcement.
We're going to express our views on things that you might not always agree with.
We will occasionally go on an off-topic tangent.
And we're going to use dark humor to express ourselves now and then.
So if you're easily triggered, this might not be the podcast for you.
However, if this is your cup of tea, then raise your pinky finger while you sip and join us for this week's horrific case, you sick bastards.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Unsung Murder Ballads. This is episode, I totally forgot what I was doing, episode 8 Revisited. I am Janus Dead.
And I'm Tory.
And welcome back, Tory. It's good to hear your voice again.
Thank you. It's good to be back. This is so fun.
It's funny. I love having guests in, and I love when people come back and you want more punishment, and that's cool.
Yeah, the last one was crazy, and re-listening to it, I had the same reaction when I heard it over after you
And
posted it, and it was just insane. I was trying to tell everybody about it. I was like, you have to. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't listened to it yet, but
it's
you
so
have to
good.
listen to it.
These earlier cases, I was specifically choosing ones that were either very strange or more extreme. And that one being a listener request and being extreme was nuts. So,
Yeah, nuts to say the least. I'm scared for what you have to bring to the table next.
well, amazingly tonight, we're re-recording episode 8, which was also a listener request.
Hmm.
This one is called
Interesting.
The Frog Boys of Korea. No, you haven't
Hmm.
heard of this one?
No.
Yeah, this one's it's
Hmm.
it's weird. I'll say that. It's not as extreme, but it's weird.
Yeah, my brain doesn't even really know where to go
Right.
with that, but it's trying to go in a
When
billion
I
directions.
when I heard the title, I first thought of like kind of like Navy SEALs, and like they were the Frog Boys. So I was picturing like the Korean War and they were teenagers that were that's what I was
Oh.
picturing, and I couldn't have been more wrong.
See, I've never even heard of Frog Boys in like ever in
Right.
any reference
And
ever. So
well,
I
I
don't
got
even
to
know. I was imagining boys killing frogs or something. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, it's funny because I think they call them, sometimes they call scuba divers frogmen, but I don't, but that's where I went with it. So, but that's not what it's about.
Yeah, interesting.
All right. So with all that said, let me pull up my notes and let's begin. Because this one doesn't really
Okay.
have a teaser the way we would normally do a teaser, because it very
Hmm.
quickly gets to the point, and I don't want to ruin much, but there's no, if I had chosen anything to do a teaser with, it would have been initially misleading. Because,
Okay.
yeah,
All
so I
right,
just
got it.
decided we're just going to roll right into it.
I have to say I'm cat sitting, and if you hear random noises, I'm really sorry. They're insane.
It's okay. In the past, we've had people drinking, we've had people eating. I had a train go by one time. It is what it
Oh,
is.
there we go.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right. So we are in South Korea in the 1990s. And this case is about 5 little boys who wanted to spend their day off from school playing in the woods, kind of like they had done 100 times before. Only on this day, they wouldn't come home.
Okay.
It was just after 1 p.m. when the phone rang at the home of Woo Jun Woo. And God help me, I'm probably going to say these names wrong. I'm going to do the best I can.
Okay.
He answered the phone, and he was surprised to hear that it was someone from his son's Taekwondo class on the other end of the call. And this person tells him that his 14-year-old son didn't show up for the class that day.
Hmm.
Now,
Okay.
this wasn't as surprising as it might normally have been, because on that day, which was March 26, 1991, this was the first day in 30 years that South Korea was holding local democratic elections.
Oh, all right.
So schools didn't have session that day. People were off work so they could go vote. It was a big deal.
Oh, I see. Okay. But all right, continue. I just feel like the dad or the parents should still know. I don't know.
Right. Well, it is Korea in the 90s, so
True.
we didn't have like even in the US, we didn't have helicopter parents back then. So, and there wasn't quite the
Yeah,
same threat level.
that's hard for me to wrap my head around when was born in 99, but had
Right.
helicopter parents. So, I'm
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, I guess everyone wasn't like that. And it was the 90s. You reminded me of that last episode too. Like, it
it's
was
okay.
back then.
It's I mean, when we early on in our cases, Joyous Dead would have to hear me talk about that all the time where she would say something and I'm like, "Well, this is before cell phones existed." And like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's hard when it's been there your whole life.
yeah, it's truly hard to imagine, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's I being older, being 50-ish, I've seen the world change a lot, you know.
Yeah.
When I was little, we had a black and white TV. We didn't have a color TV. They existed, we were just poor and didn't have one. So, I
Mm,
literally have seen the entire thing. It's weird, you know. I didn't see the
yeah.
invention of radio or television. I'm not that old. But those have always been there. But I've seen the evolution of the television, where there used to be these huge boxes that sat on things that weighed 100 pounds, and now
hmm
and now they're like, poster board.
Yeah, seriously, it's
Yeah,
crazy. I do vaguely remember those giant TVs, but
yeah,
very, very vaguely.
yeah. I was gonna say you at 99 in the year 99 when you were born, we were transitioning into large screen plasma TVs. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. Well, back to this. So now, while Jung Woo wasn't all that happy his son didn't go to his class, he wasn't exactly panicked because he knew his sons had gone out to play with his other friends, which are the same four other boys that he played with all the time. And essentially, their
Mm.
houses were in like this circle in their neighborhood. So they were all really close. Like basically, they would just meet outside their houses and play.
Yeah, all right. Again, the 90s, things that don't happen anymore.
Right? I was going to say, picture almost like a cul de sac, where you could come out into the center. But
Yeah.
this is Korea in the 90s, so it's not quite a cul-de-sac. It's more like a field, and there might be a road. You know what I mean? So
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, I was picturing a cul-de-sac,
yeah,
but
yeah.
okay.
Again, Korea, not the U.S. So
Got it.
again, confusing. So in this group that I mentioned, these are the boys that we're talking about. And again, I'm probably saying these names wrong. We had Chul Wong, who was the oldest at 14. We also had Joho Yeon, who was 13. Kim Yong-gyu, who is 12. Park Jong-in, who's 11. And finally, Kim Jong-sik, who's 10. And I have
They're
to
all
say,
so young.
yeah, that's what I mean. They're frog boys. Yeah. Well, and we'll get to why the frog thing in a bit. So his father's picturing that they're probably just together being boys and they lost track of time and he didn't make his class. So Jong-woo goes out and searches for them. And he's walking all over their village and he can't find any of these kids anywhere. They're not out playing. They're not at any of the other kids' houses. And as he's making the rounds, one by one, the other parents are like, oh, wait, something's definitely not right now.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Where are the other parents? And are they thinking is he the only parent looking, I guess, at that point?
No, they're kind of joining him as he's going. It's
Okay.
right. And again, I remember being a kid, and this is the 90s. I wasn't a kid, I was a teenager. But I remember being a kid and like we would just all collect each other up from our houses and get on our bikes and ride all over the place and be crazy. That's what I'm picturing these parents more like, ugh, these kids, you know what I mean, versus actual
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, none of these boys were at their houses, and all the other parents were confirming that none of these kids made it to that Taekwondo class. So now they're all,
Okay.
so now they're all on the same mission, and they're out looking for them. And they found someone who said they saw those five boys, earlier that day. And this guy
Hmm.
said that he had asked where they were going. And the boys said that they were going up a nearby mountain to look for salamander eggs, which apparently is a thing in Korea. I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah,
All right.
it's a thing, right? I don't know.
I used to look for tadpole eggs when I was a kid, but like,
Okay.
I don't know.
I remember
I guess that's what I think of, but I was just a kid and there was a pond next to my house, so.
well, I remember being a kid and finding a little thing that had tadpoles and keeping some of them to watch them turn into frogs.
Oh wow, did you see them turn into frogs?
No, my mother got mad at the smell of the water and made me get rid of it.
Yep, classic.
Yeah, yeah, but it is what it is. And it's probably for the best because who knows what would have happened with those frogs in my house.
Yeah, I had three little mini frogs from the paper store that lasted me years and years, and then
Oh, wow.
I don't know what happened.
I always had a dog as a pet, and it never. I mean, I loved the dog, but after the one dog that I really cared about passed, when we got other dogs, I wasn't as close to him. Because
Yeah, that makes sense. I got cats after my childhood dog passed away. I was like, I don't want to do another dog.
gotcha. So basically, now the parents are thinking, well, this makes sense why we can't find our kids. They're not in the neighborhood. They're up on this mountain, and that they'll come home,
Yeah.
and that they would come home eventually. But as the afternoon turns into evening and it gets darker and darker, now their worry begins to creep back up.
Hmm.
So, as the sun goes down below the horizon, the group of parents head up that mountain to look for their kids. And there is no sign of them anywhere. So,
And it's only getting darker.
correct. So the parents go and they file a missing persons report with the local police. But the police, they're not worried at all. They're basically saying, oh, don't worry about it. They're just going to get home late. They just stayed out playing. It's no big deal. And the parents are like,
Classic.
right? And the parents are like, no, we have a bad feeling about this. They know that their kids wouldn't stay out that late. And even if they did, they would have contacted them. One of them would have come home.
Yeah, exactly. All of them to go missing is alarming.
So the police, they're just like, don't worry about it, go home. So the next day, when the boys are still not back, the police finally take it seriously enough to begin searching.
Oh wow.
They began searching the mountainous terrain with groups of officers, residents, and in some reports, even a helicopter. But
Hmm.
that's not in every report, so I'm skeptical of the helicopter.
Yeah, good reason.
They also conduct a search of the village itself, focusing on empty houses and like arcades and spots where kids would normally go to get snacks and hang out, like pizza places, right? Although I don't know if
Yeah.
Korea had pizza places. I don't know. I don't know what it's like there in the 90s. I've never been.
Yeah, it was just me neither.
I've been to Okinawa, Japan in the 90s. I don't know if that's similar enough.
You you were a lot more well traveled than I am.
The military helped with that a lot. So,
Hmm. Makes sense.
but regardless, after all this searching, they can't find any sign of the boys anywhere. And by the third day, the parents are completely out of their minds with concern. And they realize something must have happened to them. There's no way they just wouldn't come home.
Yeah.
And just when they feel completely lost, the parents of one of the boys, Jean Sick, the 10-year-old, the youngest, the parents of
Hmm.
him, they get a call from someone. And that person says, I have the children. They're all suffering. They are very ill.
Oh shit.
Right after they say it, they then give instructions to the parents to get a lot of money and meet at a mysterious place on a specific street in the village.
Huh.
So, even
Did
though,
it say, was that it?
yeah, that was the call. They're basically, we have
Huh.
them, they're ill, they're suffering, but bring this money to this spot and whatever, right? So
Okay.
even though the parents aren't sure of what's going on and they're terrified for their children, they then run around and they do what they have to do to get money together. And when the time comes, they go to that meeting spot with the money, and police are there like hiding and they're at the ready.
Okay, yeah, that was my main question with okay.
Yeah, they were waiting to see who was going to show up. But 20 minutes of waiting turns into half an hour, which turns into 40 minutes, which turns into an
Mm.
hour, and nobody shows up. There's absolutely no sign of the caller or the children. And it turns out it was just a huge hoax.
Ugh, sad and messed up.
So over the next few days, media outlets outside the village start to get word as to what's happening. Basically, in the days prior, everything they were talking about was that election, that first Democratic election in 30 years. But as that was
Yeah.
dying down, all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, there's 5 missing boys from this village. And that's what the
Oh.
media runs with. And the media are the ones that coined the phrase the Frog Boys. And the reason for this is someone they spoke to misquoted the person who said they saw them looking for salamander eggs
Mm.
and that they were going to catch frogs. So they got the nickname the Frog Boys.
Okay. All right. My mind was not, that was not in my brain at
No,
all.
it certainly wasn't in mine either.
Okay. Makes me feel better.
So this nickname stuck, obviously, because we're still saying it all these years later.
Very true.
Right? But regardless of what they're called, this national attention was a good thing. Now, the parents were able to get on live television where they would talk about the kids and their frustration with the police and everything that was going on.
Good.
But despite their outwardly, whatever, talk about police, the police were finally starting to take the disappearances a little more seriously again.
Well,
I know.
yeah.
The
Well,
police
again, makes sense.
the police in this episode are going to piss you off.
Oh, great. As if, okay.
Yeah, because they were literally saying while the police are trying to, they're claiming they're taking it seriously, but the parents are saying no, it's like they don't really care.
Yep.
And
Hey.
as proof of this, the parents created these missing posters for the kids. But when they gave some of them to police to hand out, the police made a change to their missing posters and listed them as runaways.
What? Wait, like,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
They went to, even if, oh, okay. That's insane.
Yeah, just imagine you're looking for your missing kid and you hand these flyers to police and they run off to like fucking Costco or whatever and put over missing, they put runaway.
Yeah. And first of all, I would think that like somebody vandalized it. I would not assume that it was the police
No,
or something.
but they find out very quickly it was the police because all of the
Yeah.
ones they gave to police were changed.
It's crazy. And then second of all, if my child is going out looking for salamander eggs in the mountains and then doesn't come home, I'm assuming like he got attacked by a murderer, obviously, if I'm getting calls like that, even if they are jokes, like that's where my brain's going, or the woods got them, or whatever it is.
Right.
It's like,
Bears or
how are you
leopards.
being? It's not like they were bad kids with a record. They were 10, 11,
Right,
12.
exactly. They're just out being kids. And the police
It's
were
fucking crazy.
the police, I'm telling you, there's so many points in this story that are going to fucking piss you off.
Hmm. Okay. Strap in.
Exactly. So this obviously created a rift between the parents and the police. And the TV networks basically said, well, why don't the parents contact the station with any leads? They even created a phone line so that they could have callers call in with any tips that went to the fucking state, the
okay.
TV station.
Wow.
Then something wild happens. The parents
Wow.
were on the air when the telephone rang, and the person on the other end said they were 10-year-old Jean Sick.
Oh my God. Shut the fuck up. Oh my God.
So the voice on the other end of the phone sounded like a little boy, and he's crying for his mother. And the mother said it sounded like her son. But then the call gets
my
cut
God,
off.
Imagine.
Yep, the call just cuts off. Now the group managing
No.
the group that was managing the phones, they tried to call the number back, but they couldn't get through to the other end. And when they tried to track where the call came from, they were unable to. But it turns out it was another hoax. Like nothing else came of
Wow.
that.
What the fuck is wrong with people?
If this was the US, I would say I would be like, 'cause we're just fucked up. But it's
Yeah.
Korea in the 90s. I don't have an answer.
Well, honestly, I don't know. I think it's just the human fucking race at this point, but
You know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
especially from the last story, that wasn't in America.
That's true. You're right. You, that's true. You haven't done a U.S. case with us yet. I just realized
No,
that. So
but
Japan and
there is an
Korea.
American sickness,
I'm
remember?
I'm keeping you in the Far East apparently.
You are.
That's funny. It's
And
like
I'm not going to travel there anytime soon.
well, it's too bad because the Far East is amazing. I love it. I can't wait to go back. So
Well, maybe I'll take some, I don't know, I'll go back to Muay Thai or something and then I'll
there
go
you
and
go.
visit.
All right. So despite the prank, the TV show kept the missing boys in the national news, and there was a national effort to find these children. So much so that the president of South Korea at the time even made statements about it in the press. And
Oh, wow.
he directed 300,000 officers to search for the boys.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. But I don't know. I don't know how often kids went missing here, but I think about the US, how many missing kids cases there are. And yes, there's five in a group, and I don't know, but I'm just like, I would be so mad if a catchy little nickname got these kids like 300,000 officers and my kid's case got lost in the files or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Agreed. Agreed. I think
I don't know. I don't know why that's where my brain goes, but
well, keep in mind, I think Korea is the size of maybe Pennsylvania, maybe a little bigger. So
true.
300,000 officers is a lot of people.
Yeah. Wow. That really, yeah,
Yeah,
puts
again,
into perspective.
exactly. You gotta like it all like fits in perspective. Like it's huge. They're not.
Yes.
It's a country, but it's not a very big country.
Yes. Okay.
But I don't have the stats on how many children go missing. I think in the U.S. it's roughly 100 to 150,000 a year, but most of
Yeah.
them are found. So
Yeah, I think I don't know if it was in the last episode or just in person, but I think we were talking about that. You told me that.
yeah.
It's crazy.
So even with all that effort from the president, as weeks pass, there's no sign of the boys at all. And then it begs the question for the parents, like, what are these search teams doing? Like, are they really searching?
Yeah, weeks.
Yeah,
They're
weeks.
10, 11, and 12. They're not fucking ninjas.
That was awesome. I want that on a t-shirt.
Like seriously though, I mean, either somebody took them and what are the search teams doing, especially if that country is so small? I don't know. And like, yes, of course, there's thousands of places and they could be, I don't know, but it frustrates me. And I don't know. There's so many points with that. That's just frustrating.
Agreed. There's a lot going on here, and we're just scratching the surface. We have so much more to do. So much of this is going to piss you off. I love it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. So the parents start to get the feeling that police are just out there because they have to be, not because they actually want to find those boys. So without any
Yeah, I
physical
mean,
leads, rumors begin to spread about what might have happened to these boys.
mm,
Now, one of the biggest things that's going to come up is their village isn't that far from a military base, okay? And
oh,
on that military base is a shooting range.
hmm,
Now, keep in mind, Korea just now, and at this point in time, has just left what was basically a regime. They finally have their democracy.
yep,
But people don't really trust the military at this point. Mostly
yeah,
because the military, unlike local police, the military was there to enforce the leader's rules. They weren't there to
yes,
protect the people. So,
mm,
with this military base nearby and the shooting range, the rumors that started were that the kids may have wandered too close to the base. Maybe was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Maybe they got shot, and it was all being covered up by the military.
hmm,
So
okay,
that rumor starts to roll. And during these searches, it's also worth noting that because of the sensitivity of the military base, the police were the ones doing the searches around the military base.
like they never even searched the military base or
Well,
anything like that.
to be honest, I don't have any information at all about whether or not they were allowed on the physical premises of the military base. I just
Okay.
know that civilians weren't allowed within a certain radius, only the police
Mm,
were. Okay.
Okay. Okay. That clarifies it.
Okay. So as the rumors first started emerging, they basically thought maybe the kids wandered too close and were accidentally shot. But the parents didn't really buy it because the shooting range was well marked. Like you knew where it was, and they didn't believe their kids were dumb enough to get that close.
Yeah, I mean, they're 10 and 12 and 11. Like, I don't think they're jumping in trees and hiding from people looking for them, but I also don't think they're four and would wander onto a shooting range with signs and on a
Right.
military base.
Right.
Like,
And I've been to shooting ranges. Like I've served in the military. You're not
hmm
going to get that. I mean, maybe they did wander close enough to cuz they could hear the gunshots, right? And
yeah.
and maybe they wandered just to see, but you're not going to wander up behind the target,
Yeah.
you know?
And yeah.
Right.
If you see a group of five boys, you're not gonna like shoot and kill. Like, what? I don't know.
Presumably
Maybe,
you
but
wouldn't. Yes, presumably.
yes.
Because I can tell you off topic little thing here. So I my job in the military was ammunition and explosives, right? Most of my job was giving people bullets to fire and then taking back the empty shell casings for recycling. That was most of my job.
Mm-hmm.
And one time we're out in the desert and we were testing what's called a squad assault weapon, and it's like a high-powered automatic weapon that just is firing some really crazy stuff very fast.
Okay.
And they were just shooting them. We had little targets out there, and everyone's doing their thing. We have to get training in on how to use this, right? Whatever. And all of a sudden, a coyote comes out from behind something,
Oh shit.
and you saw every barrel on that line shift in the direction of that coyote.
Oh shit.
And I remember yelling out because I was in charge of the whole and I'm like yelling out ceasefire, ceasefire, and one guy got off one shot, right? Because you
Huh.
heard it after I said ceasefire. You heard one shot go off, and he didn't hit the coyote. So
Huh.
the coyote runs away, right? And so in the Marine Corps, the term that they use is one shot, one kill. So the
Mm.
fact that this guy was the only one who got a shot off and didn't hit the coyote, we never let him live it down.
Yeah, yeah, you guys shouldn't have. That's hilarious, but also, come on.
But thank God he didn't shoot the coyote, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so that's how those things go. So if children were walking up, they would call, presumably they would call ceasefire, unless they were
Okay.
sneaking up somehow. But again, I don't really see that happening. Not
Yeah.
not in an accidental kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So apparently, the day of the election, the military base wasn't like open for operation. There were reports that there was someone on that shooting range though shooting, like firing shots. And
Like,
yeah,
not somebody in the military?
well, no, presumably it would be someone from the military. Understand this is Korea,
Okay.
so they're not going to share their like we don't really know who and what, you know what I mean? They're not going
Got
to
it.
yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So, but if realistically, if it's a day that nobody's working, the only type of people who can get on that range to fire weapons would be an officer, someone high up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But again, that's what the reports I saw was that someone was up there, had signed himself in or whatever and was shooting.
Yeah.
And there's also a rumor that holds a little water because someone heard the gunshots that day that the boys went missing. So
Mm.
there's a little bit of like maybe because we did hear those gunshots.
Yeah.
And apparently one of the boy's friends had heard that shot, and he said he also heard screaming, like a scream, but
Oh,
but then after that he didn't hear anything else.
this wasn't one of the five boys.
Correct. This is a sixth boy that didn't go up the mountain with him. He turned back because he knew his parents would be mad at him if he didn't get home by a particular time.
Oh.
Right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So again, it's tough to say if that's true or not. Like, you know what I mean? Like if the gunshot, I mean, it's a rumor.
Yeah.
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 So since police aren't getting any answers, the parents feel like it's their job to go out and find these answers. And the
Yeah,
fathers,
I feel like any parent would.
right? And the fathers of these boys, they band together and they quit their jobs and they basically make looking for their kids their full-time job.
Oh, wow.
They rented a truck and they outfitted it with pictures of the boys. on the sides of it, and they had a message that would blare over a speaker or be written on the thing, and they would drive around asking people for help to find their children.
Wow.
They drove this thing across the entire country, searching for their kids, passing out flyers, raising awareness. And
Holy shit, good for them.
yeah, I mean, they have to. And they got the support
Yeah.
of the people. The people were behind them. And while they're doing this, the police, supposedly, are continuing to do these searches. And they're casting a wider and wider net. And they're homing in on where the boys were last seen.
Mm.
And they're going from there. But the parents, they're like kind of over the police.
Mm-hmm.
They eventually get support from a national organization for missing children. And
Okay.
yeah, so while they're doing this, the public, they haven't forgotten the boys, and they're helping build this attention. Everything culminates. And then
Yeah.
finally, during all this, this group, this organization for missing children group, is working with the parents, and they're having all these like outreach. They're having discussions. People are coming. And one of the directors kind of points out that someone in the crowd has been there like every time. And it's kind of
Oh
suspicious.
my fucking God. Oh, like, come on. You're not, this is a national case. You're not sending a cop to do this and look out in the crowd and see any suspect. Like, there's no detectives. Oh, it's crazy that oh,
Yeah,
whatever. This is, yeah, you said it was going to make me mad.
I told you, it's only going to get worse.
Mm. Listen, I can hear the smile on your face.
Nice. All right. But they're also
Hmm.
approached by someone who wants to make a movie about the boy's disappearance.
Hmm.
And the parents are like, sure, what the fuck, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Now, this movie is released in 92, and the English translation of the title is called Come Back Frog Boys, or something like that. Which is so stupid.
It's like, what? Like, I would never know what to expect from that title ever.
Right? Unfortunately, the movie didn't do well, and it didn't really bring in any new tips, right?
Mm.
When it premiered, a national singer, contacts the parents, and they say they want to write a song about the boys.
Oh,
And the parents are like, sure, because again, any publicity, right?
yeah.
But just like the movie, the song doesn't generate any movement on the case either. And then,
Yeah.
of course, there's a book that comes out shortly after the song. And it's just, at this point, it's almost like people are trying to capitalize on it for their own gain.
I was just thinking that, and I don't know, maybe after the first or second thing fails, maybe like
Maybe not.
look at the author and be like, okay, no, but good idea. I'm gonna go to a best-selling author and like I don't know.
Something,
I just
yeah.
feel like there's better ways, but you're
Agreed.
also grieving your child and somebody comes to you and yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's tough. And unfortunately, as this is happening and time is passing, the public, they're losing interest. They're like,
Mhm.
yeah, there's not much we can do at this point.
And I feel like this might be fucked up to say, but the book and the movie and the song, and especially them not doing well, kind of oversaturated
Yes.
on top of like the news and stuff. Like stories like this, I feel like kind of lose traction sometimes, anyways. Like even right now, what is it, Nancy Guthrie's mom
Oh,
or
yeah.
Nancy
Yep.
Guthrie's name? Like it's kind of lost traction. Cases like this kind of lose traction naturally, but
Right.
I
And
feel like they oversaturated it. They stretched it out a bit.
right. Agreed. Like it's unfortunate, but I understand their point of view. Anything they can do. You know?
Yeah. Yep, me
It
too.
makes me think of a little bit of like Gabby Petito, where her parents were always out there pushing, pushing, pushing. And
Yes.
then when her boyfriend or whatever came back to Florida, if it wasn't for them, maybe we wouldn't have been paying so much attention.
Yeah, it's
But
true.
but that happened relatively quickly.
Yeah.
So at this point, the fathers couldn't keep going because they had pretty much funded this entire thing on their own, and they were going more and more into debt, and they couldn't just keep ignoring their responsibilities to search for
Yeah.
their sons. And they had to make the tough decision to go home and basically start working again and try to put their lives back together.
hmm
What's fucked up here is once they did that, the public kind of turned against them.
What?
They were like, you couldn't possibly really love your sons if you're going to go back to work kind of bullshit.
Oh my God, have a little humanity.
It's fucked. This goes back to, this has to be a cultural thing. I know we said that a lot about the Japan
Yeah,
case, but I'm like, holy fuck.
that's wild. And like, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. Did they have siblings? It doesn't matter even. It doesn't matter. Like they have
agreed.
responsibilities and
They have other
they're
children, they
trying,
have wives, they have a home to take care of. They have,
And how about instead of shaming people that are looking for their kids, how about try and help?
right, maybe shame the police for not doing more.
Right.
Unfortunately, with an important piece of their family still missing, they had to start doing what they needed to do to scrape together some sense of structure. And that structure was shattered again when the parents were contacted by none other than the members of the military.
Hmm.
The military
Here we go.
contacted them because they wanted to meet. They basically said, come up to this base on the mountain. They want to meet in person at night. And they
Oh,
and they said specifically, do not let the local police know about it.
oh, yeah. Okay.
Would you have
Sick.
gone? Would you have gone?
I would have gone with fucking guns a-blazing.
The-
I
I
don't
don't.
know.
You
I don't
can't. I
know.
don't think it was legal to own guns in Korea at this point.
Well, swords a-blazing. I don't know.
I'm picturing you with a
Something.
katana.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the parents agreed, and they went up the mountain into the military base on the night that,
And didn't tell the police?
and didn't tell the police.
Whoa.
When they got there,
And at this point, though, the public still doesn't really trust the military like that, right?
correct,
Wow. I mean, you're desperate to find your kid, but
exactly.
whoa.
So when they get there, they were led into a large tent, and there were just some soldiers waiting inside. Now,
Hmm.
I'm not sure how many people there were. Reports state that they told the parents that they could help them find their kids with the help of some supernatural abilities.
What the fuck?
Yep. One person.
Yup. Yup.
Yep. I don't know what else to say.
Like, okay, sick.
This
This
is
is that kind of story, huh?
this is where we are.
Nice.
So this person tells them he can give one of them the power to locate where their kids are. And one by one, this guy walks around and he's putting his hands on the sides of their heads. Okay? And he's like trying to give them this ability.
What?
Fucking weird. And he gets to one of the mothers of the boys. And all of a sudden, she starts speaking uncontrollably, like she's possessed.
No way.
I'm not kidding. And this is what the soldiers were looking for, because he's telling her, let her talk, let her lead the way, follow wherever she goes. And she gets up and she exits the tent and she starts running across the mountain.
What?
And everybody's following behind her, even though it's like overrun and it's muddy and it's rainy and it's difficult to keep up with her. They're all behind her, trying to stay as safe as possible. And
The
eventually,
movie should have waited to come out until this point because that's a crazy movie. That's what it sounds like.
I was going to use this as the teaser, but it would have been so misdirecting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So eventually, this woman stops and she just starts yelling that the boys are here in this clearing. And they start searching and digging. And you know what they find?
Oh. Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing, of course.
No bodies, no scraps of clothes, nothing at all connected to the boys.
Yep.
I have no idea why the military would do this to them.
I mean, I'm assuming there's no reports and it's the military, but were they did they act surprised or were they like, yeah, this makes sense?
Again, there's no other reports other than what the parents would say later.
Okay.
So for me, I don't want to reveal my thing too early, but I'm going to.
Okay.
I think the military killed these kids. I do. And I think
Yeah.
this was their way of fucking with the parents, just getting one more laugh out of it.
Mm.
I I hate to say it.
I mean, it absolutely could have been. Yeah, my mind isn't set on one thing yet because I know the stories that you've
Yeah, I know.
covered. So I don't know. There's going to be lots of twists and turns, I'm sure. But that's where my gut initially went.
Right. It's either for me and my when I first heard this case and researched it, my thought was on the police or the military, and it's kind of stayed there, but I'm very mistrustful of those type of groups.
Yeah.
So now we're jumping to January of 1996. So this is 5 years after the boys have gone missing, roughly.
Whoa.
Yeah. A man named
Okay.
Kim Ka Wong, he comes forward and says he knows what happens to the boys, what happened to him.
Okay.
Turns out he's a professor of psychology in the U.S., and he's from
Oh.
South Korea. So basically, South Korea doesn't have too many criminal psychologists. So
Okay.
his background in psychology here in the U.S. gives him a lot of credibility. And he said
Mm.
he was following the case. He was studying it the whole time, and he believes that the father of 10-year-old Jong Sik is the one responsible for the disappearance of all the boys.
Oh shit.
He claimed that John Sik's father, whose name was Kim Chol-gyu, apparently said he can't account for the hours before the boys went missing, which
Oh.
turns out to be true. The police, when they were taking all their reports, basically there was a 3-hour period before the boys had gone missing that this kid's father couldn't account for.
3 hours.
3 hours.
This is why I'm like, I can't have my heart set on anything yet.
So basically, this raises a lot of suspicion. Not with the parents of the boys, keep in mind. They're like, there's no way this is going on. Like, their fathers are not going to hurt any of these boys. They're completely not buying it.
Okay.
But this guy from the U.S., Ka Wong, he is adamant that this boy is the one who did it, and he hid their bodies somewhere in that house, in his house.
Oh.
Yep. So now the media has gotten word of this. And as this guy is approaching, like as he's bringing everything with him, the media's there, the police are there, they're ready to do this search on this guy's house.
They
And
haven't done that already? They haven't searched the houses of the missing kids?
correct.
Okay. Right on theme with me being mad. Okay, is all you're getting.
I love it. All right. So
Oh.
they do an initial search of the house, but they don't find anything. So then, at the encouragement of this Ka Wong guy, they bring in an excavator and they start tearing up the floor of this family's home. They
Whoa.
essentially demolish this fucking place.
No way.
They were literally tearing everything up. And you know what they found?
Drum roll, please.
Nothing.
Nothing. Of
Yep.
course. Of course not.
Yep. And the whole time they're
Oh.
tearing this thing down, this guy is running back and forth saying, no, no, dig over here. No, no, dig over there. And he's got this whole crowd gathering. And people are like fucking into it. And then when it turns
What?
out, yeah, and then it turns out there was nothing there, the crowd turned on him.
I mean,
Yeah,
okay.
rightfully so.
Fine.
So basically now he has to try to get the fuck out of there as the crowds are yelling at him, and as he's running, people are like, catch him, catch him. And he has to be
Mm.
taken into police custody for his own safety.
Whoa.
And then at the end, he was made by police to apologize to the boy's father. As
Did
if
he have to buy him a new
he
house?
should have, but no. Eventually, he's kicked back to the U.S. and stripped of his credentials.
Oh, okay. I was thinking that that possibly could have gone like the bodies were under the floor, but the military somehow like poured new pavement or so. I don't know. I was like, the military did it, but it's in the dad's house.
Yeah, it's fucked, isn't it? I told you, this case is frustrating.
Yeah, I feel like I usually have an idea, like a pretty strong idea of where it's going, but I have different theories. This one, I'm like, I don't really know.
It's unusual.
Hmm.
So, long story short, that ends up being the last big push to find the boys for many years.
Oh.
Life goes on for the parents as they basically come to terms with their loss and they rebuild their lives.
Hmm.
One of the fathers of the 11-year-old, he loses his job. And in his grief and anger over everything that happened, he gets into fights with police.
Mm.
He's eventually charged with obstruction of justice.
Oh no. Oh my gosh.
The 10-year-old boy, the one whose father was accused of killing all of them, whose house was
Yeah.
destroyed, he died of cancer 5 years after his house was destroyed.
Oh,
Yeah.
so sad.
In the end, and he died literally 5 years after his house was destroyed, never knowing what happened to his son. And then we get the
Wow.
answer just 1 year later.
No.
Yeah. On,
See, I think we said this in the last episode. I'm not really religious, it doesn't matter, but I like believe in something, like angels or spirits or something. And I'm like, maybe the dad helped. Maybe he helped.
maybe. So on September 26, 2002, the families get the news that they have been essentially dreading and hoping for. The remains of 5 bodies had been found on the mountain.
Oh my God.
The bodies were found by 2 locals that were hiking and collecting acorns, and they came across some old clothes that looked like there were human bones among them near these rocks.
Jesus.
Now, this area that the bodies were in, it was pretty secluded, but when they reported it, everyone immediately knew it was the boys, even after all those years. And when the parents got the news, they went up the mountain with like an entire crowd of people and reporters.
Oh.
And they were hoping to be able to identify the remains themselves before like authorities got there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all these bones and clothes were mostly buried, and they were kind of dug up. And at
Huh.
first, it was difficult for the parents to tell if it was their kids or not. I mean, they're skeletal, right? I mean, it's been
Yeah.
it's been 9 years at this point.
Wow.
But eventually, they begin to recognize things that were with the bodies, like the shoes and the pants and a jacket. There were still braces
Mm.
on some of the skulls, like the teeth,
Oh my God.
and they knew it was their sons. Literally, 5 sets of remains were found buried among rocks and trees. But as the excavation continued, the parents started to notice something odd, specifically about the boys' clothing.
Hmm.
Some of them had their sleeves tied together.
What the fuck?
One of them, his clothes was on inside out.
What?
Yeah. Another had his pants and shoes flipped over his shoulder, as if he had just tossed it on his shoulder, carrying him that way.
What?
The state of the clothing wasn't the only thing that disturbed the parents, because as the remains and clothing were being processed, the sleeves of one of the jackets were untied and empty shell casings from bullets fell out of the sleeve.
Oh,
Investigators found
oh my God.
investigators found several unused bullets, like actual bullets, in the clothing of the children as well. And one of the
My
skulls,
jaw's on the floor.
I'm sorry.
Like on the floor. Oh my gosh.
It's
They're
fucked.
just on the clothing or like bullet
Like
holes?
they're
Like,
like
no,
no,
they're
no,
full
they're
bullets.
bullets, like unfired bullets in their pockets or in their sleeves or just rolled up in their
What?
clothing. Yeah. And one of the
Huh.
skulls had a hole on both sides of it.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't think you need me to explain how that would happen.
No. No thanks.
So once the bodies were found, police called in a forensic team to kind of help them. But it took a little while for that forensics team to arrive. And by the time they got to the mountain, about 3 of the 5 bodies had already been taken out of the ground by the local
What?
police.
Oh my God.
Oh, get ready, because these fuckers are seriously inexperienced. And that was on full display once the forensics team actually got there.
Oh.
Let me ask you a question. If you were even remotely, let's say you're a rookie cop, it's your first day, and you're
Yep.
there with these people, and you find these bodies, and you're told, get them out of the ground. What would you do?
Aren't we not supposed to touch them?
Agreed, but let's say hypothetically, your boss says, get them out of the ground. What would
Yeah, if my boss says it,
Okay,
yeah.
what would you do?
I'm trying to get him out of the ground.
Okay, but as you're taking, I mean, keep in mind, there's skeletal remains, right? If as you're taking them out, how would you move them?
Oh my God. I would move like, what are those called? Archaeologists or whatever?
Okay, archaeologists. Yep.
Like, yeah, like they literally use like feathers to dust them off. Don't like you
That's
have to
like
be so gentle.
right with dinosaur
No metal
fossils. Yes.
shovels. Like I would use gloved hands.
Okay. What the forensic team walked into was a pile of bones stacked on top of each other like firewood.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they weren't even
Were the
trying.
parents and everybody, all the media still around?
They were nearby. Yes.
Wow.
They were literally not even trying to keep them separated by which body they came from.
Oh my God.
It was like you were grabbing sticks for a fire.
Oh,
I can't even imagine.
like truly, I can't imagine.
I mean, obviously, a lot of mistakes were made. So the forensics
Mm.
team, they're looking at it and they're like, oh, fuck, right? And before they can even dive into it, they haven't even looked at the bones yet. And the police are like, well, we have a theory. And the police say that they believe the boys died of hypothermia,
What?
freezing to death. They died of hypothermia.
What?
Yep.
Come again?
They
What do you
say
mean?
they say that the night the boys went missing, it was a frigid 37 degrees Fahrenheit.
It
And,
was snowing bullets?
and since the boys were all found close together, they believed that they had huddled together for warmth.
Oh
Presumably,
yeah.
presu-
Tied their sleeves together for warmth too. That makes a whole lot of
they
sense.
turned their clothes inside out, right? Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they said that they just laid there and succumbed to the cold.
Right.
So here's my problem with dying of hypothermia. How do you bury yourself after?
How do you bury yourself?
Yep.
Even if you tried to bury yourself
at least
stay warm.
at least one hand is staying out.
Exactly.
It doesn't make
Like,
sense.
also, again, it's snowing bullets. They're 10 and 11 and 12. Like, what? I'm sorry? Yeah, okay. And they just have a gun and one of them is shot through the skull.
Right.
Okay.
Well, police, it's funny that you say that. It's awesome. The police try to explain away the bullets by saying that the boys weren't that far from the shooting range. Maybe they had gone up there and maybe they were picking up the bullets that maybe someone had left on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's how they were in there. That's how they had them.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, once forensics teams started digging in, turns out the two holes in the skull were not made by bullets.
What?
Yeah, that's some kind of blunt force trauma that can't actually be figured out.
Oh,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
way.
not bullets.
What?
Fucked up, right?
Oh my God. Oh, my brain. No.
I know you're going to hate me so much.
Ugh.
The parents were obviously not convinced that their children died of hypothermia. Anyone with any intelligence are like, hey, these kids were murdered.
Yeah. Yep.
And considering the bullets and the proximity of the shooting range, most people believe the military had something to do with their deaths, after all, at this point.
Rightfully so.
Now, this theory is, in my opinion, the most convincing. And the military basically says that those bullets were there. They admitted it. But they fully denied any involvement in the boys' deaths.
Of course they did.
Now, once forensics team actually got to really dig in, they were pointing out that there's no way this was natural causes.
Yeah.
They found
He
mark.
just happened to fall onto what's it called? A spear?
Yeah, a spear.
And it just
Yeah.
was missing?
Yeah, it just went right
Or
through.
like,
Yeah. Something happened to both sides of his head at the same time. Come on.
yeah. And like,
Yeah, they were pointing
I
out.
wonder,
Go ahead.
I don't know. I wonder so many things. Sorry.
No,
Continue.
but this is okay to discuss. That's the whole point of this.
I'm just like, I don't know. I wonder how the bodies were arranged and which shirts were tied to whose and
Yeah.
who was on the end and how, like, which one had the holes in his head and I don't know.
I was
And
going to
then
say,
they,
unfortunately, I don't know most of those answers.
yeah, and then they stacked it all up together. Like,
Well,
Boys had no
the
chance.
14-year-old was the one that had the blunt force trauma injuries, the oldest.
Hmm.
So it's
Interesting.
tough to say.
Yeah.
Um, so of course the police come out and say that all those injuries, those blunt force injuries to the skull, had to have happened after the boys' deaths.
Ooh.
Animals or something.
What?
Yep.
Oh, what? A woodpecker just chose one skull. That's all.
Yep. Just one. Just
What's gonna do that?
I.
What's gonna put a hole through both sides of your head like that?
No idea. So a
Ugh.
woodpecker apparently.
Like, dude.
Well, the forensics team, they were like, all right, let's get a second opinion. And they contact an anthropologist from the United States, and they sent some photos over. And that anthropologist comes back and says those marks in his skull were done by something man-made.
Oh my God.
So at this point, everybody is like, this hypothermia thing it's not working.
Thank God. I can't believe that's even still circulating.
Well, I mean, that's the problem is in Korea. I'm going to assume the media is still kind of controlled by the government. I
Mm,
don't know, and that's the problem. I don't know. We know this because of like documentaries that have been made and things like that.
yeah.
So one investigator decides to go back up there and kind of see what he can figure out. And he was the rescue team director for the Korean Alpine Federation.
Hmm.
And he goes up the mountain. He starts taking a look around. And based on his expertise, he's like, nope, hypothermia doesn't track. For one,
Oh,
for one, the boys weren't super high on the mountain. Like, you'd have to be really high up there to not be able to continue walking even when you were cold.
yeah. And yeah, they're young boys. I don't know. Okay.
Exactly. And there's 5 of them.
Yeah.
They were about 300 feet from a road. So that being lost isn't credible either because they're familiar with this mountain. They could have
Yeah.
gotten back to the village.
Hmm.
And the distance from the military base where their remains were found was actually within the effective range of many high-powered military-grade rifles.
Oh,
Yeah, meaning you could have been shot from that range where those boys were sitting.
oh my God.
So, the theory, and this is the one I lean towards the most, is that those boys were on the mountain near the shooting range and they were either accidentally shot or killed. My theory goes, and this is based on the fucking decision that those military people made to fuck with the parents,
Mm-hmm.
is that there were probably a couple of them up there. They saw the kids, and one of them was like, check this out, and
Mm-hmm.
fired a shot, killing one of the boys. And then they had to run down and contain the rest of them.
Yeah.
They probably used their clothes to tie him up. Who knows what else they made him do? One kid's fucking
Yeah.
clothes are inside out. The
Hmm.
another one has his shoes tied to his pants and they're thrown over his shoulder. It's fucked up.
So sad.
That's where I think this most likely goes.
Oh my gosh.
What's really fucked up? What's really fucked up is that the boy, if the boys were really murdered, the time had run out to be able to charge their killers with any crimes, because in Korea at the time, the statute of limitations for murder was only 15 years.
Oh my God. Do you know what it is in the US now?
There is no limitation on murder in the U.S.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
if you murder someone, yeah, like it doesn't matter. Like this, the Golden State
Yeah.
Killer was caught 30 years
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
How
Oh my gosh. I wonder what it is now.
well, we're gonna get into that.
Okay.
Okay, I promise I didn't do that to you on, and I was not gonna leave that one ambiguous.
That's wild.
On March 26th of 2004, exactly 13 years after the boys went missing, their parents scattered their ashes in a nearby river.
Oh.
Their parents felt it was only right to release their ashes together because they were inseparable in life and hopefully they can find peace together in death.
No.
Over the years, the parents have tried to keep this fight going for their kids. There was a lawsuit they filed against the police, which ended up going to trial.
Wow.
And the judge sided with the police.
Oh, yep. Should have drum rolled. I knew it.
Yep. There was a win, however, in 2007 when the statute of limitations for murder was raised from 15 years to 25 years.
Okay.
But then
Fine.
in 2015, the statute of limitations was removed entirely.
Oh.
So now, if we ever figure out who murdered these boys, that person or persons can still be held accountable.
Oh, okay.
However, unless someone comes forward with any new information, their deaths will remain unsolved.
Yeah. Wow.
And that is the case of the Frog Boys of Korea.
Gosh. That I know. I said this last episode too. I was silly to think that I was going to go to bed after this. That's wild. And that's not at all what I expected, especially from the title. I don't know.
It's fucked. I told you this was the earlier cases that we did that I'm re-recording now were really strange and unusual cases. And
Yeah, they're really strange, and they're strange in that they don't take the most extreme turns that you're like expecting almost, but it's such twisted turns that it's almost worse.
right?
I don't know. But then again, the last one that I did with you was bad. I don't know. They're all fucked up in their own special way.
Junko's torture was brutal. These boys, I
Yes.
don't anticipate they were alive for very long once they encountered whoever hurt them. So there's
But
that.
at least,
Yeah, there's that. But at the same time, who knows? Like, we don't know how long they were alive when being held, you know?
yeah, yeah. And either way, I just picture 10, 11, and 12-year-old little boys. I mean, I don't know. When I was 10, 11, and 12, I thought I was a teenager, but now I look at 10, 11, and 12-year-old like my friends' siblings, and I'm like, you are a baby.
Yeah, and they are. Just
Yeah.
imagine being a little boy out, just having a good time, and all of a sudden you encounter these soldiers that you can't do anything against.
Wow.
It's a funny
I
story.
can't. I really can't imagine it.
Here's a funny random story. When I was like 8 years old, right, one of my friends and I decided it would be funny to hide along the sidewalk of a major road and jump out and scare people going by.
Hmm.
We just thought it was funny. So we were doing it. We thought it was hilarious. And back then, if there were cameras, we would have had them set up, right? But what happened was, and I'll never forget this as long as I live, my friend got up in a tree and I was hiding behind like these small little hedges. And there was two men jogging towards us. And
Oh God.
I was expecting that both of us were going to jump out and scare these guys at the same time. Okay? But my friend, he didn't move in that tree. So it was only me that popped up and scared the fuck out of these guys. And what happened was after they got I can't stop laughing. Once these guys recovered, right? Because they were like shocked. They descended on me. And they literally, it was summer, and they literally pulled my pants down and dragged me bare ass across the ground I was on. Like across this dirt. And then
Just watching from the tree.
yeah, my friend is up there. He did his,
At some point, I thought you were going to say, and then they stood up after they were like, they fell because they were scared, and your friend dropped down on them from the tree.
no,
Your
he
friend's just watching you get dragged bare ass.
he stayed completely quiet.
I'd stay up there forever.
And yeah, so after they left, I was like, what a bunch of fucking assholes, right? That's
Oh.
how helpless I was against two
Mm.
joggers.
Yeah.
So armed men with guns, you would have been terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah. As funny as that story was, because it's funny. I got my ass, literally, I got my
Yeah,
ass.
but it's
dragged.
like going back to the kid in the tree, because that's first of all hilarious, but second of all, I'm assuming he didn't come down until after they left.
Oh
Like
no, of
he
course
was
not.
scared enough.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was like, I'm not involved in this.
it wasn't just you who was getting your ass dragged. Like he was in the tree. Like fuck no, I'm not going down
No, but you
now.
know what? You gotta understand. Like I'm still friends with this guy to this day, right?
That's hilarious.
He is my oldest friend. He and I are still
Oh.
close. His kids are adults now, and I love them all, right? And so it wasn't the only time we had something like that. And I can't believe this is going to be the end of the episode, but whatever. There was one time we thought it was funny to lay. There's this. This is so fucked up. There was a point. There was like an exit ramp for a highway and a major road here in Worcester, in Massachusetts. And for the listeners who don't know, and we thought it was a funny point to take our skateboards, and one of us would lie down on the side of the road with our skateboard turned on its side as if we had been hit by a car,
No way.
while the other one hid and watched the reactions of people going by.
Oh,
And we would take turns running back and forth and doing this, right?
oh my gosh.
So one time, and then we're like 12 years old, I think. And one time I was in the tree watching this go down when
Mhm.
an ambulance and a cop car pulled up, and he's laying there. And now he's going to stand up and try to explain why they don't need to take him anywhere.
Oh my God. That is crazy. I can't believe that's a real story
It
from
was
somebody that I
so
know.
funny. It was so funny. And I'm just watching it all like, holy shit, right?
And of course, you didn't come down
Of
from the
course
tree.
not. And that's what I'm saying. I don't blame him.
Yeah. Oh my
It
gosh.
was so funny.
Jeez.
Amazingly,
And at the end of the day, they all didn't have guns. So imagine how scared these little boys were.
right, exactly. So, anyway, after that crazy personal story outro, I'm glad you joined me again. You're a lot of fun to have on these.
I am too. I think everybody else likes the tidbit of personal information too, because
I,
your stories are hilarious and very
well,
entertaining.
well,
So
thank you.
thank you.
I'm always worried about sharing them. I'm always like, should I edit that out? And I'm like, fuck it. Who cares?
I think
So,
it's a lighthearted ending to
a very
stories that are so sick and twisted. So I like it. I think it's your personal touch,
cool.
personally.
Appreciate that. Thank you. All right. So, once again, everybody, thank you for joining us. I am Janus Dead,
And I'm Tori.
and we'll see you soon.
See ya.